Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna read some cards and talk and stuff. Oh, shoot. So please look at my signs. This part right here, I'm particularly concerned with that you see, because a lot of times I'll have some additional things to say, and I will put it in the description box or the information box below the video. You can find that. So, yeah, how's it going today? Okay, hold on a second. I feel like I have too much on. It was an interesting day, interesting couple of days actually. Personally, I was coming to the end, thank God, of a cycle of just everything financial not going well at all, and it was just I think I made it more stressful than it actually needed to be, but there were certainly some twists and turns and a lot of unusual stuff that just was abnormal, and I was just like, so this never happens to me. But stuff does happen to you sometimes. It's like jury duty. You don't do it all the time. You're not asked to all the time, but occasionally they'll call up and ask, or not call, but wouldn't that be a nightmare if they had your phone number? Well, they probably could get it, but it's bad enough getting the letter. And, well, actually, I should do it, because I've gotten two summons, but I had to request to not do it because I don't have a vehicle to get to and from the place every day. Like, my caregiver, they're not going to send her to take me to jury duty and back, especially on the days when she's not assigned to be here, which, you know, I don't know how many days a week it is, jury duty. I assume it's the weekdays, so that it just wouldn't work, so that they have excused me. But I'm actually the perfect person to do it, because I don't have a job to go rushing to. I don't have like a family of small children that need to be tended or something like that. It's just me. If I could get there and back, I'd take whatever they're paying. I just heard on the news, well, it's in New York, so the expenses are higher there, but it was $40 a day. And they were talking about it on, was it the news or a comedy show? They're blending together. I think it was a comedy show, though, because the guy said that it was $40 and all the death threats you could ever wish for, or whatever. But yeah, that. And that isn't that like something to think about, that if you want to do your civic duty and be a juror, because more people need to. A lot of people get excused just, I guess, because they don't want to go, or they have the job in the family or whatever, and it doesn't pay anything. Like, you make more money just going to work, but then there's also the added death threat thing, and just general threat if you know, if MAGA finds something wrong with your behavior having to do with Trump, with especially this situation, and that's, I mean, I wish they could keep it to themselves, you know, like, I don't know, it's just the time right now where everybody feels like they need to go that one step beyond. So, anyway, I was having like these financial issues all year, really, and well, for about half of the year. Too long, however long it was, but I just really wanted it to be over, and it's finally like working its way out of the cycle, I guess. And I just want it to go faster. But see, like, I'm getting my phone issue figured out. This is still the old phone, but the new phone did finally come. Unfortunately, it's a different format. It's an Apple as compared to this Android. And this is, I mean, I have problems with these too, but usually something I can work out or ask someone, because around here more people have Androids than Apples. We're in my apartment complex where I see people. But anyway, and I had one before, and I made the transfer from this carrier. Well, actually, it was the same thing as now. Like, I had a different phone that I got an upgrade on because it just was time. So I'm not even coming from a different carrier. It should be really easy, but it hasn't been. And when stuff blocks you up or gets in your way, impedes you, then it must be, it's supposed to happen, you know, like, just to, for instance, I want to hurry up and be done with this. I could not get this phone thing handled fast enough. For 2 days, I've been talking to Comcast, trying to activate the thing, and first I messed up because I wrote down the password and then had left out a letter. And I was being so careful to write everything down so I wouldn't screw it up, and then I screwed it up. But later, I found the right password, so I was able to finally get into the phone. I got the passcode, I can open the phone, I just couldn't, like, go to the App Store because I needed to sign in, and I was like, why is this password not working? I got it from Apple, work! And then I discovered I had left out a letter, whoops. So, wasted a lot of time being stupid that way. I don't know actually what the issue is right now, but I'm almost done. I will tinker with it some more tomorrow, but I've had enough today. The point is that I couldn't be done with it soon enough. Like, the phone calls, the long taking 2 days, just, oh my goodness. And then I kept, like, dropping the chat, and I couldn't get a person on the phone forever. And then when someone did call, it was like, I also had, like, other stuff incoming, like other people expected me to do stuff and, like, hurry up and do it at the same time. Like, everything happened at the same time. And then I had my caregiver here who was not bothering me. She was helpful. She was like the other pair of hands that I needed, basically, because I was being asked to do so many things, and I was getting all wound up and, like, well, mad because, frustrated, like, I can't do everything at once, and everybody wants it now, and the cat, and it's like, really? Everybody right now? I was like, well, this is some kind of test. I got to get through this without, there's something sticky here, of course, without killing everybody or myself. Well, okay, that's overkill. That's out of control. Stop already with that. I'm just saying, it's an overreaction. So, with my thing, it's just like me wanting to rush through it, and that's why I messed up. Like, it has to be. But it really is, like, if you can picture, like, an avalanche, that's what it was like. Just like all this stuff needing to be done right now, hurry up fast, and then as careful as I was trying to be and trying to like not hold, not freak out and hold it together, because that's something I need to work on. So, I mean, I did okay. I didn't lose it on anybody. I did get frustrated. I did curse out the air, but I wasn't on a phone call. I was, texting, but it was hard not to let what wanted to come out of my mouth come out of my fingers. But I did it. I didn't like lose it. So that was encouraging. And I feel like it's that thing where, like, if the thing is happening to me on some level, it's a widespread occurrence. Like, something of the same nature is happening to everyone. Like, well, let's see. What do we got piling up, waiting to roll downhill, that big clumps of us are just so anticipatory for it to happen? And that could manifest in a way that's fine, but I don't think it's going to be like unturbulent, because I don't know if I have to explain this, but like the former president is in a lot of trouble for things that he did that were illegal, and they were investigated, and it went to trial. He was indicted, and now it's in trial. Or, well, he can't do them all at once. So he started his first criminal trial today. And there seems to be some confusion by his fans, the people that won't watch the news because someone told them to, and told them it's all lies, and they have no desire to check it out for themselves. They're like, we won't look. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. I think it's crazy to deny yourself the knowledge that's out there, like information that could pertain to you in your life, for that reason. Like, because someone told you not to, and because, like, it's lies. Well, I mean, I guess on a level, they all lie to some degree. At least lie by, of omission, at least. But there are certain ones that they take the truth and twist it, and I guess you could call that an untruth. But some people around Trump and just him in general, but especially this trial and legal stuff and money issues and all of the things that he's doing to try and like raise money, because he's already got a lot of money to pay out, and that's just been like a civil trial. And yeah, so I think there's anticipation behind that by people, and I think some of it is driven by like resentful anger, because they listen to him and don't get all of the information, him being Trump, and he lies to people. He's notorious for that. Oh my gosh, I'm really swollen there. Awesome. Well, don't get sidetracked. There's just like a lot of emotion, and a lot of people are like vicariously living through Trump. That's the only way that I can explain the fanaticism, the devotion to the guy, the complete inability to see what a lot of other people see just fine: the dishonesty, the criminality, the vulgarity they see. And for so many of the people that are his supporters, they claim things that makes it seem counterintuitive for them to love and follow Trump so wholeheartedly. But I saw something interesting today, and it was like a religious thing, but the guy was talking about how, oh no, it wasn't a religious thing, but they were saying how, I don't know if you've heard this in like whatever religion you happen to be in or were brought up in, or whatever the deal is that you know about. So for like, I was raised Catholic, so now you know that. But I'm not like like I'm not a I'm not a good Catholic. I don't attend services, and I don't even know what the rules are anymore. They changed over my lifetime. When I was really young, you had to eat fish on Friday, no meat, and then they changed it. And I was like, wow, okay. I didn't understand it, but okay. Like, it was real serious. Like, if you were like, I don't want a gross fish stick, I want fried chicken, you might as well have been like possessed and, possessed and saying possessed people stuff. And then it changed, and everybody was just all, okay, whatever, like nothing. At least that's what it seemed like to me. I think I was still in elementary school when that happened, though. But in the church, they will tell you that we have God in us. So the non-church people that I listen to that talk about sort of religious stuff and spiritual stuff will say something similar. What they say is, I break it down this way, that we're fractals of God, like little flakes even, but we're active and animated, and we're like these like agents, like game players here to experience on God's behalf some type of things, witness it, be a part of it, like in some way be affected or a part of some experience. And what they were saying along with that was that when we meet people, or we see people that are like doing things that are sad or horrible or mean or tragic, and we're going to be affected by these things in all likelihood, but what we shouldn't do is like try to change people's course, try to change their mind. I mean, that's why I always, I don't always say it here, but I say a lot that I don't like proselytizing, because I mean, I know when people come to my door trying to get me to go to their church and like listen to them talk religious stuff, I feel like, so you just are walking up here thinking that I have nothing. Like, what do you think I am? Like a witch doctor lady? Like jungle medicine? And not that that would be a bad thing. That's a lot more powerful and probably better than all of our pharmaceutical crap. But it's not like so-called civilization or whatever. But I mean, they don't even say that, but just the idea of coming up to someone's door and just start talking to them about religion as if, like, I feel like they just assume I'm some kind of heathen and I have none. And by their reckoning, I don't. But that don't matter, because their reckoning is not, that's theirs. They can have it all they want. I don't have to participate. I'm doing my thing. But anyway, when we see something like a liberal sees a MAGA, or they see each other and the names go back and forth, the name calling and the characterizations, and it's kind of pejorative and insulting and dismissive, by turns, back and forth. So the main thing is like, those people we shouldn't try to mess with or change. Like, we could just like take note of them and whatever they're doing. Like, okay, that happened, those people did that, and whatever it is, however we feel, we shouldn't be like reactionary about it and try to re-educate someone or something, or just like remove the people's rights to do or have something because you and other people don't think they should have or be able to do whatever it is. And when we do that, it's like we're saying, well, wait a minute, we're gonna get in the way of, this is what God wants to happen for some reason. We don't need to know we don't need to know anything unless it's affecting us. And so if it's outside of us, that means it's not affecting us, not personally anyway. So I just thought it was interesting, and I've kind of come across this in my own life too, and like recognized that, yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna take that on, that whole like, God on the ground type situation, a literal drone observing, then I always get to my point and then lose it. What the hell was I saying? Oh, so we're the drones. Oh, so well, who are we to get in the way of, whatever God is making these people do over here? Like, they have their own orders. Let's put it that way. I mean, coming from God's mind, but it might be a little easier to take if we take it as like, we are on our own individual missions or life paths, and we're doing what we do because God wants to see what happens when this type of person does that type of thing. Apparently, I mean, but the point is you'll hear that from both like the religions and the spirituals. Like, they both kind of say that, and that is kind of validating for me because they're not always, they're not always in alignment. They're at odds often, So we all have to kind of, I think, in light of what I was just saying, rather than look at other people and see things wrong or that we don't like about them, because there's also that saying that if you see that something that bothers you or is off-putting in someone else, it is likely a characteristic of your own that you're seeing, and that's why it's pissing you off or whatever the feeling it is that's giving you. But we think of like the unicorn, and this is from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and it is it's got that luminescent circle there at the top, so it's a spirit card as opposed to like an earth, air, fire, water element. It's the spiritual element. So inside of whoever all I just talked about, like whatever category you put us in, we are starseeds. We are born into these bodies to do our life path or life blueprint things, like whatever we have laid out to do. And I don't know how to explain how big that is, that collaboration and design of each individual life path, because each individual life has a lot of spirit entities like soul family, angels, guides, ascended masters, just dead people of note that are attached to us somehow. And that goes for everybody, like everybody, everywhere, everybody. So if you think about that, that's a lot of connections and threads, and it's like this incredible mesh, incredibly dense, incredibly intricate, and that's us. But we here are not our true selves. Inside of us are our true selves, the unicorn. What we're doing is kind of unicorn, kind of like improbable, like only a certain number of people are even going to take this seriously, the unicorn. Just like probably the same is true of what I was just saying about life path and all lives being connected by literally everything we say and do and everybody we know and also don't know. It is intricate. I'm just gonna read real quick what it says about the unicorn. I wasn't gonna, but I feel like I want to now, so let's see here. Nope. So there's a lot of stuff happening in American society to push us all in directions that we may not necessarily, after what I just said, it's almost like what I'm gonna say doesn't make sense, but it's almost like these things happen that sort of pushes in the direction of literal places or behaviors or something. We, like nothing's really random. And because we don't really know what we're here to do as far as the whole plan, blueprint thing, then it's kind of like, I have asked the question, but then I later realized that it doesn't make sense. If we have a plan, we have a blueprint, but we don't know we know before we're born. When we are born, we don't know anymore what the plan is. So since we don't know, we might get into this state of mind like, oh my God, well, how can I change it? Or what if I mess up and change it? But I realize that you can't, because you won't even know if you're messing up anything. And we have free will, but what are we free willing about? We don't even know what's around the next corner, sort of. So, anyway, let me read this. Unicorn, reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago. The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from, and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power, and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out to grasp. I know there's another page here. Let go. Reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you have begun your quest for the answers. The unicorn and the sixth chakra. It's no surprise the subtle essence of the unicorn resides at the third eye, the exact place from which the unicorn's horn extends. This center is called the Anja Chakra, or command center. The ancient yogis believed it to be responsible for our intellect, intuition, and deepest wisdom. That pings with the next card, the deep wisdom. Some say our two eyes see the past and the present, while this third eye peers into the future. So, when unicorns dive into these human bodies and lives, before that we can see the future, and then we get in there into the bodies and we're completely immersed, but we're still the spirit being inside, and we can really evolve to amazing heights of abilities and high levels of spirituality, like speaking to higher and higher order beings, you know, like starting with, I would say, conservatively, our higher selves, which I think are, I feel like it's the first level of our own actualization as a spiritual being, above and beyond like these, you know, human bodies that are not always so perceptive or sensitive or compassionate or a lot of things. But there's a lot going on that causes all of that, and it's not like something that we should be holding against each other and blaming on each other. So the last card is a Shaman's Dream Oracle deck card. You see that? And it's the number 48 card, Sky Dancers, and the subtitle is Surrender. So before I talk about the image on there, I want to read what the guidebook says about that card. Sky Dancers, liberation from attachment, surrender. When the Sky Dancer appears, she is inviting you to welcome the deepest power of the feminine into your life. You have already overanalyzed your situation to exhaustion. Now is the time to invite the sacred feminine, the wisdom within your heart, no matter your gender. Spiritual wisdom of the feminine nature, and I have more to say about that. If you've become earthbound, plotting and planning and praying for change, cease and desist. Break the habit of being yourself, of repeating the same behavior and hoping for a different outcome. Stop trying to figure it all out and stop overthinking it. Surrender. Sleep on it, you know, like relax your grip. It's not going away, whatever it is, you know, like when you have a problem and you get blocked, what is that old saw? Sleep on it. So yeah, I mean, you gotta surrender consciousness to sleep, giving yourself a break, and then you can figure your stuff out in the downtime. The Sky Dancers are heralding the arrival of a new relationship with yourself. In your work, in your love life, do not assume that this person will, or opportunity, will rescue you. The only way to liberation is to kiss the ground goodbye and to take flight, to rise above the fray and the drama of the struggling, arguing mind. So, I mean, that feels like surrender the grip that this life and this programming that we get and all of the influences that are constantly competing to, I mean, I almost feel like, can they make us, you know, like step out of line? And by step out of line, I mean get off the straight and narrow and do something, you know, temptation laden, let's say, something sinny. No, but I mean, there's a lot of kind of dark or dishonest things that we just do automatically as a general rule, and a lot of things we just are like, that happened, I can't do anything about it. And sometimes that's like a fine answer. Like, you don't want to get in the middle of something dangerous that has nothing to do with you. You can do something without being directly involved. We have phones. We can like see and take note of things and walk away, and if it's necessary, speak to the necessary authority. But you know, we just end up like picking up, like if we were really staticky, we end up with lots of pieces of small things that are attracted to static. And that's my metaphor. But we're influenced by things, and it's not always good. I mean, good is, I guess, subjective, but generally I want to work from the end of don't kill and don't steal, and try and stay off of other people's other halves, and work from there. And there's going to be another end to the spectrum that I pretty much want to stay away from, where you just give into debauchery and bacchanalia and taking of everything. I'm thinking theft and taking of everything comes out, but yeah, theft of everything, objects, places, people, and a lot of times all of those things can be obtained without having to force anybody to do anything. But there's a certain number of us that enjoy that dynamic. So there's that. And we can't really do stuff about all of the other people and their stuff. There's gonna be, well, danger in life. Like, you could get killed by a serial killer, you could twist your ankle and fall in front of a bus. Like, there's all kinds of ways to get hurt. But the thing is, we can get attached to the idea that it's going to be scary to die, that there's no afterlife. It's just like the television is unplugged and that's it when we go. But there, I feel, I don't know if there's evidence to, oh, it's a dime, to say that reincarnation exists, but there's enough stuff out there said about it by enough different people and places that makes me feel like, yeah, okay, that, for a number of reasons, that doesn't sound that crazy, and it's not about Jesus. Although, I mean, you could add that to the story. Did I finish this? I don't think I did. So, dance in the sky and view the madness below by simply witnessing the actors and the human comedy unfolding on the ground. You are transforming it. So paying quantum attention activation. So that's like you witnessing the situation and not putting a finger on it, but just by knowing about it, you're like entangled with it. And that's one of those connections. It's like you can't even, I don't know, like there might be some kind of scope to measure it on, but I don't know if there is as of now. I don't even know if there's a need for that, but if there is, I'm sure someone will come up with it. The sky dancers know the maps of heaven and the way to the holiest and most sacred spaces on earth. They come to you with your current life, and even more important, to guide you to the realization of your own divinity. So that's the divinity and the guidance to it. That's what we are here to do as well, is remember who we are. And that is probably kind of confusing when you first start like getting into this spirituality thing and this ascension business, awakening and the shift and all of that. It's a learning curve, like everything in life. But I was interested in the fact that for this card, well, that's someone that's like surrendered and let go of all of the programming, for example, that might have been holding them down or holding them back from doing or being some kind of something that they wanted to accomplish and just were prevented from, either by themselves or someone else, because it wasn't approved of. Like whatever the person wanted to pursue. They didn't feel free to do it. And that's not, that feels terrible. But, the surrendering to the stuff that's kind of brutish and violent and aggressive, and sort of being strong enough to drop it and move beyond it, really. I mean, you're not going to make it not happen, but the way that you are affected by it makes a difference. So it makes sense to me that it's the feminine inner wisdom that they're talking about here, because it's inside of you. Like, we all have part of it too. The spirituality thing is understanding that we all have some male in us and some female in us. I'm losing words, but the female of us is going to be more emotional, more intuitive, more introspective, softer, compassionate, empathetic, like all of the things that you like expect when you're talking about a feminine, not sentiment. Well, when you there was that part of your being, and then we also have like a masculine side, and that is kind of represented widely because there's a lot of social arguing kind of going on right now, disagreement about all kinds of things like voting and reproductive health rights for women, and healthcare and education, and paying for education or not paying for it. So some of that gets kind of like mean and rough and like low down, low blow, and just like a flurry of aggression, but it's like in the way of what though? Like, what are you so protecting, or like what are you, if there's nothing there, then what are you fighting about? Like, I know that it doesn't sound like much of anything at all. I guess I'm thinking of, getting behind a slogan or a person because it like dings some bell in your personality, and when another being or person is doing some other thing and you don't get it and you don't like it, like, again, that could be like something about yourself that you're not crazy about that you're seeing, but it's also like everyone's on a different level, just in the fact that from being an individual alone, I'm not even talking about, varying levels of consciousness right there, but that too. And I know that right now, like, a lot of male society has a problem with women, like incels are mad at women, and I don't know, like highly religious people that want to roll back time and, go back to the past, which a lot of people don't agree with and don't want to do. So, there is a level of discord between the male and the female in society, but we also have those elements inside of ourselves, and societal influences and programming growing up from all of the sources you can receive it from go into each of us and our lives and our families and the way everything works out. We know that all makes us a certain, like, that is what constructs our character, life, living our lives. But we are in the habit, like I talk about a lot, is that we've been warlike, slave-having, human trafficking people for a long time. They're good stuff too, but that's not a concern to talk about all the time because it's not trying to hurt and kill people and all of the other things. So, to me, one represents a more male mentality. Why was I putting scent on it? Mentality, like sentiment. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking. But the female is more reserved, generally, especially, in conditions of basically what I was just describing. The thousands of years of violence is threat for us, threat for other people too. I'm not discounting the experience of other people that come under threat, but I'm a woman, so that's what I'm going to talk about. So that has to kind of be, especially in a man that's like anything at all remotely feminine. If they do it, they're instantly gay and the world ends or something. Like, it's the disaster of the universe to have a feminine quality. But we all have them. Sorry if you don't want to admit it. But the more big a man and scary you are, and the more you deny it, the more that you telling me there's some in there, and you don't want people to know something about it. Like, do drag queens drive you insane? What was I saying about other people looking and doing things that get your goat when it's really all about you? I'm just saying. There was inner wisdom spoken of, and it was female, and that's where I'm going with it. So, the point is that when you get to the point when you can surrender and let go of all of those things and let your freak flag fly, and also let everybody else's freak flag fly, and mind your own beeswax. Sorry. I just really wish people would do that. And the ones that are like up out of their bed as soon as they open their eyes to go chasing down stuff to say about other people, well, I mean, we go through stages. And eventually that's gonna be a thing that you don't want to do. For most people, like almost everybody grows out of stuff like that. But we're in a time right now where it's like all of it is coming to the surface about everyone. And like trying to do my phone stuff, we're all trying to process so much stuff from every different direction, including inside, that it would just be a relief, I would think, to let that stuff go. Be yourself. Be happy about it. And try not to trip too hard on what the other people are doing, because that's seriously not your lane, probably. Anyway, I hope you got the gist. Thank you and good night.